Are we alive? Are we live like alive? Mic test, 1, 2, 3. Broadcasting out from the wonderful, T utopia that is Las Vegas. Welcome to our workshop today. My name is Ree, and Steven's here too. And if you're in the right place, you are here for Unlock Your Teas Through Better Water, the workshop that we use to cram everything we've learned in the last 8 years with water and tea, and just trying to get the best out of our teas into one about hour and a half long session. So welcome. I hope you guys are hearing us okay. If you can hear us and see us, please let us know in chat. And then also let us know where you guys are checking in from and how you guys are doing today. And also what teas are drinking. We're really, really stoked. So it's 6:01 here in Vegas. Let's just give everyone a couple more minutes to arrive. We found that YouTube Live was kind of like taking a while for people to kind of sign them in during the other workshops that we did. So, get comfortable wherever you might be, morning, evening, afternoon. Welcome. Really appreciate you guys. So we're seeing our friend Marco and Shiloh, Taylor and Chris and Maria. Welcome. It's so nice to see you guys. I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend, wherever it might be, Saturday night, Sunday morning. I like that you guys decided to spend Saturday night with us. I know you guys can't really go a lot of places with COVID going on, but party up Saturday night, tea nerd convention, I guess. And then also Sunday morning, if our Asian friends are here joining us. I know you guys got up and could have had a lazy Sunday morning, but instead you're spending it with us. I really appreciate you guys being here today. So let us know what you guys are drinking. Shiloh's having some spring water. Very good. Michael from Kansas City is having a Colombian black tea from Single Origin Tea. Single Origin's actually our friend James, so really, really small world. I see Connie from Tea and Spoons and Jan from Vancouver. I totally agree, Den Taylor. Nothing better than tea on a Saturday night. We're actually having some aged oolong today. I'm kind of feeling a little bit under the weather. I'm not sure if that's just the weather changing here in Vegas. I'm not going to tell you how cold it is. All of y'all in Canada are going to make fun of me, but for us it's cold. So we're having something nice and warm. This is a Taiwan oolong from 2002. Old oolong. Anyone younger than this tea? Have you guys noticed a lot of young people in tea lately? It's just like, so 2002. This is a 18-year aged Baozong. So very, very good from Tea and Whisk. And then we'll just let people, filter in really quick, and then we will get started very, very soon. Chris is having some pu'er he's been steeping for the past couple days. Same. We do the same thing all the time. And then Taylor is having some huangzhishang, and Karen is having some big red robe da hong pao with spring water. I noticed you guys are the most specific about what water you're using out of all 3 workshops that we've done. So I think I have a suspicion, don't tell anyone else, but I have a suspicion all the nerds made it to this one. I don't know why. I was looking at the list and I'm like, oh my God, there's that nerd and that tea nerd. And so I mean that as a compliment. We really love nerding out about tea here at Tea Curious. So without further ado, let us get on to our workshop, thing that you guys signed up to be here for. So this is Unlock Your Teas Through Better Water. If there's another workshop you're supposed to be on, let your flight attendant know so that they can transfer you to your correct flight. But it's not going to be as fun of a flight as this one, I think. We'll have a really good time today. We just love water. As tea people, I wouldn't say we're water people, but we got so into tea and had to backtrack to figure out water because we felt like it was required to bring out what we loved so much in tea. So welcome again. Let us know if you haven't already what you guys are drinking, where you guys are tuning in from. On the replay, I see you guys too, replaying this after the workshop. Hello and hello. So hope you guys are cozy. We don't bite. If you have any questions, take them down and we'll be good. Let's go. So this is a workshop. And that's me. My name is Ree. And also beside me, I got my partner here, Steven. I know we never see his face, but here's a picture of Steven. Anyway, we're Ree and Steven, and we are Tea Curious. We are a bunch of water nerds, tea professionals, professional tea nerds, whatever you'd like to call us, from Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm originally from the Philippines, and then I moved here when I was 13 and have been living here in Las Vegas since. And Steven's gonna hate me for this, but Steven is a homegrown Bakersfield boy. So one of the biggest challenges was getting this kid to eat seafood when we started dating, but now he likes it because, you know, I don't know.
Because I'm having actually good seafood.
Medium California, like mid California, they don't have an ocean there, I guess. So that's where we're from. And this is us, a picture of us from about 1,600 meters up on a mountain in Taiwan called Jade Mountain. You might have heard this being called Yishan or Yisan, depending on who you're asking. Yushan, same thing. So Jade Mountain is the highest peak in Taiwan. It's not the highest growing region in Taiwan for tea, but this is very, very high up, at least for my standards. I really, really love high mountain tea, but I don't like high mountains. I'm actually really afraid of heights. So high mountain tea, good. High mountain, bad. So that's a little bit about us. And then also, you know, fun fact, we like to bring an HR department to every workshop that we do, because I actually asked out Steven after we met at a workshop just like this one. So we were, you know, hanging out for a couple years. He went to every single workshop that I hosted here in Vegas. And then I was like, I think this kid's pretty serious about tea. Let's ask him out. So, but don't worry, we're not going to be asking anyone out here, ladies and dudes. You know, sorry to disappoint you with Steven and all. But yeah, it's a little bit of us. So you might have met us any of these places before. We've been on 80 Degrees, on Tea Journey, on Tea House Times. We've also hung out, you know, with projects like Tea Masters Cup, the brewing competition that was hosted here last year in Las Vegas, Midwest Tea Fest, Northwest Tea Fest, Coffee and Tea Festival, New York City. We just really love sharing what we do in tea because honestly, like from the bottom of my heart, I mean this, tea changed my life. You know, like I just could not believe we went through 3 of these workshops this week. And I'm an introvert and I went to school for communication studies because I had a stutter. And I was this bookish kid who didn't have friends because my parents never let me have friends. and Steven too is an introvert, but through tea, we've just, you know, gotten to live the best life, you know, as humble of a life as it is, meeting the most amazing people through projects like this and, you know, through the tea community. And so this is what we do here at Tea Curious, is that we might look like a tea company on the surface. We do tea classes and tours and live events and experiences and community stuff. But at our very core, we're actually just people who love tea and we want other people to maybe discover what the tea road might lead for them, you know. I think a lot of you guys, I might be preaching to the crowd here, preaching to the choir here, preaching to the choir. Tea is just awesome. That's why we do what we do. So if you guys are doing all right, let me know. Again, for folks who are joining us just now, you haven't missed much. We're just getting started. Have a sip of tea with us. We're having some oolong over here. I'm seeing Mona from Hong Kong and Rabain from Montreal. Welcome, welcome. It's so nice to see you guys. Yeah, I told you all the tea nerds are here today. So you're in the right place, friends, if you happen to be a serious tea enthusiast, tea educator, tea host, tea blogger, or, you know, a magical conglomeration, all of the above, which I think just so happens. Ceramicists too. Oh my goodness, we're in like the presence of amazing ceramicists here, amazing writers, amazing just tea people. So if you do a lot of work with tea and tea related, you know, industries, this is a really, really good workshop for you. We designed this not just like as a 101. It's kind of a deep diving one because I find that all of us kind of already know that water is important. We just want to know why and how. And also, you're probably in a good space here now if you want to know exactly what your teas are capable of, including what the tea maker originally intended. If you're like, hey, I love tea, I like playing around with brewing parameters, but you want to get 100% out of your teas. I'm not sure about you, but we're not really 60% people or like 70% people. When I have a tea, I'm like, yo, I really want to get 100% out of it. I want to see exactly what you have to offer, what story you're trying to tell me. Like, you came from so far away. How can I brew you to the best of my ability? How can I make you taste and smell and feel exactly what you want to be, what your maker wanted you to be? So, you know, so we were like, whoa, is this a water workshop or what? Yes, we're going to use water to make sure that you get here. And then finally, if you constantly study and evaluate teas, you want to make sure that you're not missing anything from them. This is especially important if you're taking, let's say, workshops or classes, or courses or any kind of like, sample packs that you send out to folks as part of your work, you need to make sure that you're not missing anything from your supplier when you receive your teas from them. Like how do you make sure that when you're evaluating a tea and studying something with a tea teacher who sent you something, that you're not missing a piece of the puzzle because your water is holding your tea back. And we'll tell you exactly why this is happening. We're gonna dive deep into this workshop here. And just overall, just to put this in context, we are not water people. We're tea people who just fell in love with water because of what it could do for our teas. And I think that, honestly, water can be a little bit intimidating. I'm just going to say it right now. It just seems like this thing that only like people who are like really sciencey can get into it. It's a little bit obscure and what can I do? But I think that if we just treat it like everything else in our tea journey, like how much you practice brewing and how much you practice tasting, how much you practice memorizing and pronouncing your favorite tea names, same thing with water. And we do it to bring the A+ game in all our teas. When a tea arrives to us, gosh, I feel like you guys know this. You guys are the tea nerd like cohort. When a tea arrives at your doorstep, how many people already put their A+ game into making that tea amazing? The tea maker, the tea pickers, the tea crew, like the people who are supporting the tea pickers and the tea maker, their families, the people who cook so that they don't starve during the very intensive tea making process. Your vendor, if there's someone who helps you connect to the farms, the person in the middle, your USPS guy or gal, as long as they're not the type to throw packages at your door. Canada Post, I'm thinking about you too. But everyone's putting their A+ game, even if it's a tiny degree that they can adjust to make the tea just a little bit better. And we can do that too. And the water is just another way for us to do that. And also I feel like just in practicing water, I've just held myself to a higher standard. Like I can just say, oh, I might as well just use tap water. It's no big deal, right? Like, I don't know. Number one, it makes a big difference. But number two, if you're willing to say, I'm willing to take this extra step to make this tea really come out because everyone else cared, I think it's just better for just practice, You just hold yourself to a higher standard, I think. So all that to say, this is a water workshop. And it's meant for you to get better tea. Hope you guys are okay over there. So what we'll cover over this hour and a half or so, we'll make sure to let you guys go at an hour and a half. We'll cover, the answer to the golden question, the thing I get asked the most. Ree, what's the best water? Spoiler alert, there's no best water, but we'll answer this question to the best of our ability. What is the best water for tea? And then also we'll learn a little bit about the science behind water and tea extraction and how we can use that to our advantage. This is something I've never shared on a workshop before because I felt it might be a little bit intimidating or kind of like deep diving to go into. But I don't know, just lately I've noticed, I think we really are capable of understanding the science behind the ways our tea, comes out in the cup. I think we can handle it. So if you're like, oh my God, flashbacks to like high school chemistry or physics, no worries, we'll be right here. We'll answer your questions. We'll work through it together. And then finally, you'll also learn how to find out how your current water is, and then also what to do when it doesn't make the cut. And yeah, any questions? Does this sound more or less okay? I hope this is what we've promised on the label. This is, I can't fit everything in the world into this 1.5 hour course. There's just so much that we've discovered. We've taken 8 years to get to this point that I'm confident to talk about water. But I'm going to condense the most important bits, I think. Like I thought, hey, Stephen, if they meet us at this workshop and they never see us again, what can I tell them that I can still make sure that they have amazing water eventually down the line? So this is what this workshop is. And then also the rest of it, you can write down your questions, you can, ask us, and then also we'll be talking about the upcoming course we're dropping here in December. It's called Water Wizardry for Tea. It's a kind of advanced course for folks who really want to dial into their tea profiles and to their tea experience using all of this water stuff. Made very, very easy and honestly very, very fun. You should have seen Stephen's parents when they're like, water wizardry? Like you guys are going to do like magic and stuff? Oh, what is that? But yes, we have so much fun doing water. And I'm saying that as someone who flunked AP chemistry in high school. I never thought I would love working with the chemistry of tea to bring out the best in, my leaves. But when you get down to it, hopefully by the end of this workshop, and then also if you join us for the course, either or, it's not a requirement to join us. It's just options for you to be able to explore the stuff. But I hope that you have the confidence to feel, like you can play with your water. It's not scary. Just another thing you can do to improve your tea brewing process. So you guys good? I'm pretty good. Feeling pretty all right. Yeah. If you're just joining us now, I see you guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this lovely Saturday evening or maybe Sunday morning. And again, I'm really grateful we get to talk about this because this is a very, very long journey I've gone through to get to this point. And it didn't always look like this where I felt comfortable talking about water. In fact, I didn't grow up in a tea growing culture, tea drinking culture. I'm Filipino. Out of all the Asian ethnicities I could have rolled before I was born, I rolled the one that drinks coffee. So we're coffee people in the Philippines. And I didn't grow up with tea. Neither did I grow up knowing, feeling like I was going to be working with chemistry at all whatsoever. And in the emails that I sent out, I promised that I'd show something really, really funny, which number one, this is what my water journey started out with. I was brewing tea, I'm like, okay, I heard on Reddit or something that water is really important for tea. Let's do a side-by-side. So I side-by-sided my, tap water, which this is not my tap water, it's actually Evian, but my tap water is very much like Evian, as we'll talk about in a little bit. And I brewed it with a water I'd never used before, like a soft water. I'm like, oh yeah, spring water. I heard that Luyu, like they said that Luyu would like spring water for tea. Let's try it out, tea experiment, woohoo. And then when I brewed it, I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe that this is the same tea. So this picture you're seeing is actually the same green tea. But on the left, this is a Dragon Ball green tea. And on the right, this is a Dragon Ball green tea. Soft water and hard water. And when I realized this, I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that this is what I've been using to brew my tea with. And that's a problem with water is that, I think we talk a lot about teaware, we talk a lot about brewing technique. People are going to be very fast to tell a beginner, don't burn your green tea or make sure you're using the right pot. But for a long time, I think, it was kind of hard to say, hey, check your water. It's not very sexy to say. It's not like you need to get a Gaiwan. Gaiwan's very, sexy to say. You get this really cool brewing vessel. But yeah, this is what happened to me, and I was really shocked. This is the staining that happens after just a couple hours letting hard water sit out. It's crazy. And I'm going to explain why this happens later on. So yeah, I was just not happy, and I was like, I went down this rabbit hole, and this is from Reddit again. I told you I found that through Reddit. Reddit r/tea. This is not my post, but someone posted filtering water for tea. And people were talking about the filters that they were using. Not the date. 6 friggin' years ago, okay? 2014, I was on Reddit after I was shocked by what I found out about my water and having no idea. And at this point, I had already been drinking tea for a couple of years and spending some serious cash at the local Teavana. Like I was the most baller high schooler at Teavana because I was dropping some cash with a $. Cash. This is me. So I responded to this. And I said, thanks so much. We have terrible tasting hard water here in Las Vegas. Number 3 worst in the country. So I've been fighting an uphill battle for years. Endlessly experimenting. I'm grateful for the new lead. Someone had mentioned the filter that they really liked to use for tea. And can you believe this? 6 years ago, I was already doing the stuff for Australia with my water. And I found this just last week. I could not believe it took me this long. And this is partially why we wanted to do this workshop and share what we know through the workshop and the course, because I don't want you to do this. The problem is there's not a lot of information online about how to work with water, and whatever information is there is honestly very intimidating. And this is why I did this runaround for so long. Even worse, I wasn't a chemistry person. Again, I flunked out of AP Chem, okay? I spent most of chemistry trying to achieve a different kind of chemistry with the crush that I had in chemistry. I sat beside them all year and really didn't care about the stuff. In fact, my high school teacher, my high school chem teacher, at the end of the year in AP Chem, when I flunked out of it, he took me aside and said, hey, Ree, I think that you could have really done better. So I'm not personally a science person. So this is very intimidating for me. And yes, we are going to talk about why the tea turned that dark later on. It didn't come out like that instantly, but after like an hour or two, it will turn like that. I'm going to explain why. And you don't want that to happen, especially if you sell tea. Imagine selling a tea and then your customer is like, oh my God, why does it look like this? They're going to blame you instead of their water. So this is very important to be just aware of what our water might be doing that we might not be aware of right now. So I didn't run around so much like testing. I tried 100 different waters over the last 8 years, testing them with different kinds of teas, so many bottled waters. And then finally, I didn't know if I was making progress, but thank goodness, my friend Chris Mears, who's actually here on chat. Chris, thank you so much for forcing me to join Tea Masters Cup last year. Chris Mears forced me to join Tea Masters Cup after another friend, Tony Gable, asked me to join this brewing competition they were taking to the United States. So this is in 2019. I thought I was going to quit, but Chris, my friend, told me, you just got to go for it. And up until this point, I was fiddling out with water, but not really knowing how much progress I was making or not. And at this point, I had started making my own water at home based on what I learned, which is, we'll talk about this concept later. And, the challenge here, they let you bring one tea that you know very well and you brew it for them. And then they give you a blind tea that you have no idea what it is until about 45 minutes before you come through and brew it in front of a panel of judges who are, like, oh my God, these people have been making tea for longer than I've been alive. Jesus Christ. And this tea turned out to be one of my favorite teas, Zhengshan Xiaozhong. This is a black tea from Fujian. You might recognize it as Lapsang Souchong, but unsmoked. So for those of you who've had Fujian black tea before, chocolatey and just a little bit, tiny bit like smoky earthy, just a tiny bit. It's not like the traditional smoked Lapsang Souchong. And it was one of the first teas I fell in love with because of how milky and chocolatey chocolate milk it could be. If any of our Asian friends are here, you guys know like Milo, like chocolate milk that is really popular in the Philippines. I feel like Fujian black tea tastes like that. And I just went YOLO, let me actually do what I set out to do. I made a custom water for this tea 30 minutes before going on stage. And I was there with like a bottle and my powders. And I'm not sure if my, fellow, competitors, friends, I mean, they're all friends. I wonder if Alex Ahern is here. He'll know that I was fiddling with the waters before we went on. And I used this water that I designed 30 minutes for this tea. 30 minutes before before I was going to present this tea, when I just met this tea before going on stage. And it's like, oh my God, why not just use like a spring water or like collect or just what? It's scary, right? Like this concept is just very new in tea. So I didn't know what was going to happen either. And then I'm really grateful that it came out and I was able to prove to myself that this water can actually be used for tea. We can actually play with water to bring out the best in our tea. I ended up getting the best scoring tea in the blind brewing category by far. And then I also won just overall second place in tea prep here at the Tea Masters Cup. This is brewing competition last year. And if you know, number one first place is my friend Michael Ortiz. And that guy is crazy. So I'm pretty happy with second place. Mike, if you're out there, we love you like a lot. But this was just a great, great day. And yeah, this is partially why I have the confidence to talk about this now is, if I can do it, and I'm not a chem person, I'm not a super taster, I didn't grow up in a tea growing family. I still don't think that I am a particularly good taster. I'm not a good brewer either. I think Steven by far, is a better brewer than I am. But by knowing your water, you can actually gain the ability to bring it out to its full potential. I don't feel like it was even from me. I just felt like, hey, T, I sat there, I was like, what do you want to be today? What do you want to do? And then let me set up the platform for you to tell the story that you want to as a Zhengshan Xiaozhong, as a black tea from Fujian. What do you want to do? And that, I think, is what water can do for us, is make a platform for your tea to tell the different stories it wants to tell. And yes, you don't have to pass AP Chem to be able to do this. We want to make this super simple and approachable for you to get into, because I know you guys have 10 billion things you want to study in tea, but I want to get this foundation for you set up. And yeah, thank you, Chris. I really appreciate you. Anyway, before we really get into the content, we're gonna go into the details really soon, but just really quick. I think you guys are probably convinced now that, water is worth getting into, except you might hear from people, like, why mess with this? It's like you're over sciencifying tea, right? I hear this a lot. Like, why make things too complicated? Like, why are you trying to turn tea too sciencey, right? Like, it should just be, go to the mountaintop and brew in a bowl and, and collect dew from a branch and then melt it and then close your eyes and that's it. And there's nothing wrong with that, of course, but I don't think it's right either to say that water is too complicated for tea when it makes up most of what's in our teacup. Okay, and let's do a thought experiment. Why mess with water? People have told me this a lot, by the way, especially online. It's like, why are you fiddling with this stuff? You're making tea too complicated. What if they told me, why mess with brewing techniques? No one says this. We know brewing techniques are important because the very small adjustments we make will make a difference in the flavor of the tea. We can agree on that. Same thing, why mess with Yixing teapots or even different kinds of clays? Why do we want to deal with Montreal clay versus Portland clay versus New Mexico clay versus Tokoname clay and Jianshui and stuff? I think in the tea community, we've accepted that it's very important to know, the clay material of your pots, at least to match it to what, your teas would like. And it's basically the same thing, because what is in a Yixing teapot or in any teapot that makes it different from something else? I mean, it's the clay, right? We talk about our Yixing teapots and other kinds of, famous and about to be famous someday clays. The difference is just the mineral content that will change the flavor of the tea. And we're talking minerals, the minerals that are in your Yixing teapot are also the minerals that you get from something like this, which is, Evian water, which also has minerals in the back. You can see here that there's a list of, bicarb and sodium and calcium and chloride and stuff and silica. Silica is a really, really big element that's very, very popular to find in oh, hold on. We have audio issues? How is it? Microwave? Can you guys hear me okay now? Or is it still kind of getting weird? Hello, mic check. if someone's making
Still choppy.
yeah, let me know what the issue is. Still smoothie.
Huh.
Yeah, maybe it's too hot. What do you think?
No, I don't think so. Hello, talk.
Should we just restart the stream maybe?
Okay.
That's what you're doing.
You see any audio issues?
No, I don't see any audio issues. Can you guys still hear us okay? I'm just wondering.
Audio settings.
No, I'm not seeing audio settings. It shouldn't have changed. Nothing should have changed. So yeah, you want to just restart it? We can hear you, just have feedback, which is fine, by the way. I don't mind that you can hear us babbling over here. You want to restart the stream really quick?
Okay.
Yeah. So give us about a couple minutes. We're gonna restart the stream. Join us at the same link in 3 minutes.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll see you. I'm gonna count every single one of you. 18 people here. If one's missing, we're gonna have everyone overboard. So give it a second.